Thank you, Smitaji and Harishi, for a wonderful session, like always. So welcome, everybody. We'll continue. Happy Valentine's Day, Gopi Prem Divas to all of you. We'll continue on our discussion that we've been having on the topic of love. And today we will, yesterday we spoke about what love is not. And today we will talk about what love is to conclude our discussion. So very warm welcome to all of you. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your day. I had a great day. Let's get started. Again, it's going to be a very fascinating and engaging discussion. We may get into a bit of a philosophy. So wherever you think it's getting deep, feel free to stop and have a discussion around it. So again, a very warm welcome. Let me share my screen and we will get underway. All right, we are able to see my screen.
Ji.
Great. Okay, with our opening prayers. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. All right, Radhe Radhe everyone. So we will continue on our journey. Just a quick recap on where we are and why we are where we are. So because it is Gopi Prem Divas, we thought we'll touch upon the topic of love. In pure sequence, we are in chapter 4, which we will get back on our track. But right now we are doing a recap series. So we are in chapter 3, where we are doing a recap series for the benefit of everybody who might have joined late. So if you're thinking, we've been doing this session for the past 2 years every day, and it's too late, that's not the case. Okay. No matter where you are, you can start joining in, and within a matter of few months, you would be up to speed on all the fundamental stuff that you need to know from Bhagavad Gita standpoint to keep progressing with the rest of the group. So let's get started. The shloka that we had picked up is 4.10. I'll recite it. We'll pick up few hands today because we have some content to cover and few discussions as well, given that we have a hard stop today. So let's get started. Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmaya mamupashritaha bahavo jnana tapasa Uta madbhavamagataha. Maybe we can pick up 5 hands and then get started.
Sam ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmaya mamupashrita bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhavamagataha.
Very
Radhe
nice.
Radhe.
Thank you. Radhe Radhe, sir.
Looking forward for humor today also, Nitin ji.
I don't know. It happens. It's spontaneous. You can't plan for it. But we'll see. All right. Let's take a few more hands.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Vitrag bhaya krodha manmaya mapupasritaha bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhavamagataha.
Nice, Ashutosh. Radhe Radhe. Let's pick up 3 more hands, maybe.
Ramesh ji, Radhe Radhe.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe
Am I
Radhe.
audible?
Yes, Ramesh. Very much.
Vitrag krodha manmaya mamupashritaha bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhavamagataha.
Very nice, Ramesh ji. Radhe Radhe. Okay. Let's take up a few more hands.
Sumesh ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Shyam ji. Vitarag bhaya krodha manmaya mamupasritaha bahavo jnana tapasa Puta madbhavamagataha.
Very
Radhe
nice,
Radhe.
Yogesh. I see one new video, Jay Krishna, Michigan. Welcome to the session and thank you for turning your video on. What's your good name? I think you've been unmuted.
Okay. Thank you, Jason.
Jason, I like your name, Jay Krishna.
Yes, thank you.
I see you started joining a few days.
Yes, sir, I did. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's a great class.
Wonderful.
Yes, I will read the shloka if you'd like.
Sure, please go ahead. And it's a privilege to have you on the session. We'd love to hear from you more often. So please go ahead.
Thank you. Vitaragabhaya krodha manmaya mamupashrita bhavo jnana tapasa Uta madbhavam agataha.
Very nice, Jason, Jay Krishna. I think you did well, and you get the best debut award for that matter. Okay, you did it really well. And welcome to our sessions. Great. So let's have the remaining 2 hands, 3 hands. Okay, let's quickly cover those and then we'll get started with our topic.
किशोर जी राधे राधे.
Radhe Radhe, Kishorji.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. Yeah, I was. Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha Manmaya Mam Upashritaha Bahavo Jnana Tapasa Puta Madbhavamagataha.
Wonderful, very nice. Okay, let's freeze the number of hands now to remaining 3 and then we'll get started because we have a hard stop at 10 today.
शिरम्य जी राधे राधे.
Radhe Radhe, Shri Ramya.
Okay. Vitaraga Bhayakrodha Manmaya Mam Upashritaha Upashritaha Bhavo Jnana Tapasa Puta Madbhavam Agataha. Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Very nice. So this little boy has gotten his Krishna in form of his Masi. Okay, so wonderful. Good job, Shri Ramya. You're doing a wonderful job. And good job. I keep forgetting your name. Okay. Great. Last 2 hands and then we get started.
लक्ष्मी जी राधे राधे.
Radhe Radhe. Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha Manmaya Mam Upashritaha Bhavo Jnana Tapasa Puta Madbhavam Agataha. Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Very nice, Lakshmi ji. Radhe Radhe. I see a new hand. Yes, ji.
ईश्वर जी राधे राधे.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe.
Ji.
Yeah. Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha Manmaya Mamupashrita Bahavo Jnana Tapasa Puta Madbhavam Agataha.
Wonderful, very nice. Okay, we'll take the last but not least Riyaji and Yeshwaji. Very nice, very nicely recited. Okay.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha Manmaya Mam Upashritaha Bahaho Jnana Tapasa Puta Madbhavam Agataha.
Wonderful, Riyaji. Thank you. So let's get started. So we picked up the shloka because here Lord Krishna is talking about divine love. And what he's saying is being free from attachment, fear, and anger, becoming fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me. Many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me and thus attained my divine love. Now, all the worldly love, we put the worldly love in perspective yesterday. We'll do a quick recap around that. But the key is when you are in love with somebody, are you free from attachment? No. You have a solid attachment to that person or the object, right? Are you free from fear? No. You have fear of losing that person. People become insecure and do crazy things. Are you free from anger? Of course not. You become possessive, and when you are even otherwise, when that person is not meeting your expectations, When you become angry, you become upset. So these are the three things which cannot coexist with love. And Lord Krishna is saying you need to get rid of these three things, and then you gain eligibility for that perfect love. And that perfect love is the love that is the quest our soul is having since time eternity. That perfect soulmate, that perfect love. And until we get that love, we will keep on beating the world around us, okay? And beating the heck out of people around us, okay? Because they're not able to give us love. That is the story that keeps on repeating lifetime after lifetime. Because why are you not able to give me the love that I'm looking for, okay? They don't have the ability, okay? And it's just a play of, what do you call that? Dosa, I said, right? Dance of selfish ambitions. Whoever gets the upper hand or whoever gets his timing wrong cries foul, and whoever gets the upper hand thinks, and again, that is a short-lived kind of a thrill or happiness you get, and then again you're back to square one. So let's continue this discussion. Today we are going to talk about, okay, so this is a quick recap. See, we said that love is a governing emotion. It is a very valuable emotion. Valentine Day, like yesterday, I think Sandhya was telling me that Maharaj used to say this should be the most important festival, not Valentine Day, but Gopi Prem Divas, because we are celebrating love. We are celebrating love, which is the essence of all the scriptures and all the traditions, because that love is something which is driving this entire universe, all the species as well. And once we get that perfect love, that quest has been continuing on. And in that quest, so many complications we have experienced, but we have not understood that true love or that perfect love that we are seeking, that direction needs to be tweaked. Or in fact, there is a process that needs to be followed for us to even become eligible for that true love. And that is what we are going to spend time on today. Okay, it's a very, very important concept. So what are we going to discuss? Yes, we'll look at it from a scriptural perspective. So this is what our focus of discussion would be today. How can I make my heart loving and prayerful? Okay, everybody wants to have this kind of a heart, not a heart full of bitterness. So let's get started then. So we introduced these characters. Okay, we'll carry forward that story a little bit. Let's see, what are we talking about? So we spoke about this concept. Okay, we said there are three categories of relationships that each one of is called love, but two of them are not love. Okay, they are love, but a genetically modified form of love. Okay, not true love. Okay, it's not organic love that we talk about. So let's look at it. What happens? Because it is tainted and adulterated. So first one is called lust, calm, which is our goal is to take and take, not limited to sensual desire alone, but anytime we are seeking just to extract something out of the relationship, that is called lust, where you have only intention to exploit the other person or take advantage of the situation at hand. Okay, and the goal of that relationship is to take. That's all it is. Okay, it's a ticking time bomb, by the way. That relationship is like somebody can forcefully sustain it for a while, but not forever. The second one, which is more common, 99.9% of the world is moving because of this thing, which is called Vyapar, transactional love, give and take, which is business. This relationship is like a barter. You do this, I'll do that. Okay. And we have an explicit or implicit understanding around that relationship, and the behavioral competence or through our wisdom, we are able to sustain, maintain, and nourish that relationship. Okay, the day that balance starts shifting, the relationship starts crumbling or the friction starts coming in relationships. Okay, but this is where the world operates. And the third is, which we are going to talk about, love, which is prem. It's a very, very deep concept where the goal is to give and give. Okay, goal is to serve and give happiness to the other, and that is called true love. Okay, it happens only in movies and novels, not in real life. Scriptures tell us you don't have the ability, because for you to have that ability, there is something that is needed, and that's something we will talk about today. All right, so let's move on with our example, the story that we had, and we are going to talk about this divine love concept a little more, Tat Sukh Sukhitvam concept as well. In serving, one gets served, and in giving, one receives. That is the law of universe, and love is no exception to that rule as well. Okay. Now let's move on. We introduced these characters yesterday to drive home the point around how the love goes. It is based on certain gun. Now, if either of these people wake up and find the other person, fast forward, about 40, 50 years, this is what the reaction would be. And, that love, whether it will be sustained or not, is questionable at that point. However, let's move that fast forward. Okay, so this guy, he goes for his appointment with a doctor at 9 a.m. in the morning. Fast forward in life, okay, and his wife has also grown old now, and apparently she's suffering from dementia, so much so that she has forgotten who he is. Okay, now this guy goes to a doctor. He has an appointment at 9 a.m. and he has to get some dressing done, and he tells the doctor, please finish off the job in next 1 hour or so. Would you be able to finish it in next 1 hour or so? So doctor says, why do you want to finish up? Do you have an appointment or something? He said, you know what, I have a date with my wife. I had promised her that we will have a breakfast date today. Okay. Now doctor is apparently his family doctor. He's aware of his personal situation. He said, but your wife, she is suffering from dementia. She doesn't know who you are, right? She has completely forgotten you. So he says, yes, she has forgotten me, but I haven't. Okay, so not everything is doom and gloom on the picture on the left. This kind of relationships can also happen in the world. Now, is it selfless love? Yeah, it is, right? In a way. So if you look at it, there are two ends of the spectrum: lust, calm, love, prem. Two ends of the spectrum. The key is to basically be able to manage it. However, even though it is there, if you are erring on the or more on the side of love and prem, less on the side of that, then that relationship becomes healthy. It may not be completely selfless as well, but still with mindfulness, with thoughtfulness, with compassion, with a bigger picture, or those virtues that you can inculcate, you can still make your life close to how it needs to be. It doesn't mean it is purely transactional and it's a business already. You can still make that. It may not be completely selfless, but still you can do that. Now, if we are letting our love be dictated by what you call that, our instincts or our what you call that, hormones alone, then it is not sustainable, right? If you look at animals also, they are also instinctive in that sense. And if your hormones are dictating whether you are falling in love or out of love, it's not a sustainable game plan. Okay, and that is where we are different from animals. We have a higher faculty of discrimination and be able to nurture higher sentiments like this guy did. He nurtured higher sentiments. His purpose, wife has grown old and he has to take care of her and he's not obligated to meet her, but he's able to inculcate those sentiments. An animal will not be able to do that because they cannot think, right? Their love or their feelings is at the mercy of their hormones alone. And if humans continue to do that as well, then we are no different from animals at that point. Okay. So the key here is that even though it is transactional, it is Vyapar, we do have an ability to nurture higher sentiments around it. Okay. Let's move on. Now, what is the agenda of life? If I tell you, different people will say different things. It is Antakaran cleansing. If you ask it from a spiritual standpoint, Antakaran is something like it in our scriptures, it is called mind, buddhi, chit, ahankar. Actually, our scriptures say it has 4 compartments. Antakaran itself, man, buddhi, chit, ahankar. These 4 things are there. When it gets purified, the job is done. Now, when it gets purified, what happens? Let's see what happens. Okay. Now, apparently, this is the most difficult cleaning job in the world. Okay. It is the most difficult cleaning job in the world. And we definitely need God's grace and a guru to work with to do that. And when we do that, see, our heart, I explained to you, it's very impure, dirty, old cloth. So it is impure. However, the spirituality is all about, step by step, continue to purify it. And the day it is completely purified, the job is done. Okay. So the sovereign recipe to cleanse the mind from defects of lust, anger, greed, envy, illusion is to detach it from the world and attach it to the Supreme Lord. That is the sovereign recipe around it. What will happen when your heart is purified? That means you have prepared the vessel to receive divine love. What else will happen? Your anger, greed, envy, and illusion will be completely dispelled. What else will happen? You'll become happy. What else will happen? You'll have joy and bliss always. What else will happen? You'll have perfect knowledge always. So everything and anything that you are looking for will be achieved when our antakaran is cleansed. So many benefits of one thing only. Just clean yourself, God is saying. I don't need anything from you. Clean yourself and you will get all that you need to have. You need to feel love, you will have it. Your heart will be full of love. You'll receive divine love. You'll feel joyous. You'll have perfect knowledge. You will not be enslaved to your mind where bitterness, angry, enviness, and all that is troubling you, tormenting you, and giving you a headache every second day, splitting headache. Okay, not even headache. So all these things are needed for when we do our antakaran shuddhi, they are a natural byproduct of it. If we don't do antakaran shuddhi, we keep on dirting it, these things will keep on increasing. Okay, it's a very simple correlation. And it is a difficult cleaning job, and that is where we need to invest on ourselves around it. Now let's move on. Now, next question is, how do you get over your selfish lower nature or clean this antakaran? Right? That is the next question. And because we have a dirty antakaran, or this man buddhi chit ahankar complex, we keep succumbing or catering to our lower nature. Right? Lower nature is basically which propels us towards these negative sentiments and becoming selfish. That is the lower nature. And for us to move towards our higher nature, we need that cleaning job to be carried out. How does this cleaning job get carried out? Let's talk about that. Purifying it. How do you clean something which is dirty? By purifying it. How do you purify it? We have spoken about this concept as well. It's like a dirty cloth. You apply detergent, right? And the detergent like Surf and Nirma we used to use along with clean water. And the stains are very tough stains. They are not the easy ones to get over with. And those stains basically need to be removed. And how do you remove that? Here are your senses, right? Mind and senses. You can either put it to material world, wants, needs. I need this, I want this. That is because this is my desire. This is my material desire, I want it. Okay, as simple as that. That is one area you have put it to. The other is God. Okay, you are putting it to God. And when I say putting it to God, is there any third area? There is no third area. Some people, tell Swamiji that, our mind is not in God. When he says, is it in world? No, it's not even in world. Then what is the third area? There's no third area. It's either in world or in God. There's no third area because your mind cannot be impending. Now, what happens when you put it into your wants and needs? Basically, you are getting into material world, which is made up of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, tricolored, Triguni Maya. And because of which, and when you put it to God, it is all pure, completely pure. It is doing the job of the detergent. So the detergent in this case is God, and God has given us more flexibility and variety in form of his forms, virtues, pastimes, abodes, and parikars as well. Now, this divine attachment will not degrade the mind. On one hand, you are degrading your mind because you are building more attachment, which will eventually lead to anger or greed, and when you attach it to all pure, it will become pure. It's a very simple principle, right? If you have to clean up something, you apply the clean water and soap to it. And clean water and soap in this world is only God and saints, God realized saints, nothing else. Everything else will leave its color on you, no matter how elevated that person is. So sometimes we end up idolizing people, right? Look at Elon Musk, look at Bill Gates, look at Narendra Modi, right? If they are not saints, They might be very, paripakwa in the skill that they have, or maybe a very high level, but they are still under Maya, then you are limiting your potential even at that point. Okay. So we got to be very careful around what we are meditating or idolizing in our life. That is the gun we will imbibe as well. Okay. So our mind gets cleansed by engaging in the devotional remembrance of God. Very simple principle. There is no other way to clean your mind. There's no other technology available anywhere at all. Only by devotional remembrance of God can you cleanse it. Okay. And that is where those three S's that we spoke about, the seva, satsang, sadhana, is a way to engage our mind. It is a clean job that you are doing when you are sitting there. So when you do your sadhana, when you're sitting in satsang, listening to kirtans, bhajans, or doing seva with a higher picture in mind, bigger picture in mind, actually you are doing a clean-up job of your antakaran. So you are doing yourself a huge favor. Okay, that cleanup is going to help us in the end, nobody else. And that is the technology around it. Now, let's look at this concept. Okay, your mind, right? Mind is one. God has given us only one mind. He has not given us two minds. So either it can have, the world, my house, my kids, my relatives, my pet. What else can be there? My kid, my grandkid, my wife, my grandparents, my parents, all that stuff. And then that would lead you to one of these three, sattva, rajas, or tamas, depending upon what is the propensity of the people that you are thinking about, right? If you're thinking about your friends who are tamasic in nature, you will also imbibe those qualities. And depending upon what takes your mind space, at best you can reach sattva there, because they are all tainted with gunmay maya, and you have one mind. God has given us 2 ears, right? And 2 hands, 2 feet, and but one mind. Because if he had given us 2 minds, then we would have been smart enough to say, God, we've got the world and you both coexisting, one for you, one for them. God said, no, mind only one. Okay, don't play tricks with me here. And on the other hand, you have God, his name, Guru, right? They are gunatit, all pure. So the choice is ours. Do we want to dirty it further, entrench it further in the world, or clean it, right? And this process, this concept of, let me fulfill my material desires and then I'll do spirituality, it's your mind fooling you. Okay, that is what mind does lifetime after lifetimes. It is like putting fuel to fire. Never. It will come back with rebound, and it will come back with the redoubled intensity. It will never get over it. Our saints are telling us, get your game plan sorted out sooner than later. Okay, don't give yourself this hope. Let me quench my thirst by bhogifying this world first, and then I will do spirituality around. It will never happen. Okay, you have already degraded your sanskars, and it will demand more, bigger and better in coming lifetimes. Now let's talk about this concept of TSS. Okay, TSS is Tat Sukh Sukhitvam. Okay, this is the punchline in Narad Bhakti Darshan. Tat Sukh Sukhitvam means, in Gopi Prem Divas, as you see, in your happiness lies my happiness. And this is a concept we are not used to. We are always working for our own happiness. See, even when we go to Guruji, right, and or anybody that whom we love, we start feeding them food, right, until they feed themselves to death. And even if they are saying no, they'll say, no, you have to. It's like all the love in India, it comes through food only. And if you don't do that, they feel upset, right? Because that is their way of showing affection. But if you think deeply about that concept, is it their own happiness they are seeking by feeding you, or they are seeking your happiness by, allowing you to eat as much as you want to comfortably? It's our own happiness. So we are not used to this concept of thinking about others and doing things for their happiness. It's a very counterintuitive concept, right? Even with Swamiji, I see people, please have it, just have it. I made it with love. I mean, we have to think about his health, right? He travels around the world. If you keep on feeding him kheer and puris and sugar out of love, is it good for him? But our love, we are blind to that concept that, our happiness takes a back seat. It's the person whom you are serving, his happiness or her happiness takes the forefront. And this concept has to be reversed, right? Gopis, they did that. Tat sukh sukhitvam. They were hardly, right? I say from Dwarka, they were probably less than 4 miles away. They could have easily walked it or maybe jogged it, right? Some of them were very fit, but they never went to Dwarka. Why? Because they said, because if Krishna wants to meet, he can come over, even though we are missing him so badly. You know, sometimes it seems like our life force will go away if we don't see him or meet him, but still we don't. Why? Because his happiness takes precedence over our happiness. That is the level of devotion they have. And they tolerated that Vyog for 100 years. Just imagine. See, Lord Krishna, he just stayed in Braj for about 12 years, 11 years and some days, I guess. And then he gave a vira of 100 years to those gopis whom he loved. Okay, and they were able to tolerate and withstand it because it was completely selfless. And that is why Krishna is enslaved to them, right? He becomes bhakt vashya at that point. Why? Because they didn't have even a trace of selfishness in that. So that is the state one has to reach. Can you do it in material world? I mean, I don't know if it's even worth doing it in material world, but for God, that is what we need to practice. Okay, and in our material world, we need to get closer to that old man, that kind of a mindset. How best I can serve you. We cannot be completely selfless, but that doesn't mean we are always having a business mindset with everybody. It's always remain in what you call that. As long as you have made more deposits than withdrawal, it's a good state to be in. Don't basically strive to be on the other side around, because that's where relationships start getting dicey, where we are making more withdrawals and less deposits. It's better to make additional deposits, leave it surplus, as opposed to keeping on withdrawing. That is the mindset, at least in material world. And with God, your happiness, this seeking thing, making wishes. I said, right, there are 3 kinds of devotees. The first devotee is the one whose goal is world. God is just a means. Okay, they pick up spirituality to fulfill their material ambitions. At the heart of heart, they think if they are going to do worship of God or devotion, God is going to get pleased and they are going to give us a lot of material boons. That is the first level. The second level of devotee is their goal is God, but the means is himself or herself. They think they can attain God through worldly means, okay, through their devotion, japa, tapa, or using their intellect or whatever they are doing. That is better than the first level of devotees, but still not perfect. The third level are the smartest one, because they've understood that God is the goal and means is also the God, because we are nirbal, patit, that is born out of humility, that we can't do anything. No matter of austerity that we perform is enough to draw grace of God, and we need his help and his grace even to progress on the path of spirituality. And when we do it with nishkamta is a huge word, right? Nishkam, it's a concept that has to be understood, right? It's a huge virtue to have nishkamta in our dealings. Like in Sikhism, Nishkam Seva is the buzzword Guru Nanak Dev Ji had given, right? Nothing else. If you simply do Nishkam Seva and the menial Seva, like washing utensils, cooking, lining up shoes, brooming, sweeping, that itself will purify you a lot. And that will help in your Antakaran Shuddhi that we were talking about. So the Nishkam Bhav, Nishkam Seva is the quickest way to purify yourself. Okay, that is how powerful it is. And what is it doing? It is preparing the vessel, your heart, to receive divine love. It is purifying you, and it is uplifting you, and your heart will start manifesting all the divine virtues, including feeling love and compassion for others, having a prayerful attitude of gratitude, positivity, optimism, you name it. Everything will start flowing in when you do it with that attitude. So tat sukh sukhitvam, in your happiness lies my happiness, is the key thing that requires a lot of nishkamta, and that is something we can build ground up, those sanskars. Okay. Now moving on. Okay, so this one is encapsulated in 2 verses. When Maharaj Ji had written in his ऐसी लाखों महफिल जहां में यूं तो तेरी महफिल सी महफिल नहीं है. So he had in his written a beautiful bhajan where he says there are लाखों महफिल means numerous महफिल्स are there in this world, but your महफिल that you have created, nothing like that. In that it says लेने वाला बड़ा भोला भाला ब्रज के रसिकों में शामिल नहीं है. So if you take from God you are cutting yourself short. You're selling yourself basically short. Why? Because if you keep God indebted, it's a good spot to be in. So God is saying, okay, shall I give you this? Shall I give you this? So he will become debt free. It's like, okay, you did this, so I give you, now I'm done. But when you don't ask God, then he has to become your slave. Now, would you like to have God settle his score with you by giving you something that you deserved, you thought you deserved because of whatever devotion you have done? Or would you like to keep him in debt? And God is so simple. He said, for even one seva that Hanumanji has done for me, I'm eternally indebted to him. So, lene wala bada bhola bhala. When we settle for something from with God, that, okay, give me this, give me that, we are actually, it's like, okay, you had the whole mountain of jewels in front of you, and you just picked up a small candy and said, God, thank you. I'm very happy with it. Keep God in debt, okay? He'll continue to be enslaved by you. That is how it is. And in Gopi Prem Divas, Radha Govind Geet, it says that, Tosu nahi mangu kachu Govind Radhe, Gopi jante Gopi Prem dilade. Now, if you look about this selfless love that these gopis, village illiterate gopis had, that is a very high milestone to have. They are the role models on the path of devotion, that where a Jivatma can reach and actually enslave God, where God will become your slave. Okay, that is a huge deal. Bhaktavashya, but for that you need to have complete selflessness. And it's like everything for the happiness of God. And the first thing that would come is you complain. You stop complaining attitude, because feeling happy in God's happiness means having an acceptance mindset around whatever situation, circumstance you are in. Completely Sharanagati. The moment you complain, why this is happening to me, wish this would have happened, you've already violated that, right? So just imagine that state that they are in. Okay. And second, the true love aspect of it, let's understand it from another angle as well, okay, where we can have a bit of a discussion too. Now, Valentine, Gopi Prem Divas we're talking about. What are the gifts you would give to your Valentine? Okay. So Samji, now your section is coming up. Your roses, you would give roses, right? You will go and give roses. I see, so many people, I've seen friends who are under a severe pressure on the Valentine's Day, okay, where they can get the fresh set of roses or the best bouquet out there in the time. Color also matters. Okay, if you give it, the color is not proper, then, it may turn out to be a Valentine Day that you would remember for the rest of your life for all the wrong reasons. Okay, so you choose colors very carefully. Then you may get a remark that, sweetheart Babu Shona, this is enough, no more roses. It's about time. I need a diamond necklace. That can also happen, right? Some people may demand a diamond necklace because it's about time. You need to raise your game. Or I've seen one of my friends getting a bike, because he always desired a bike. So his wife was gracious enough to gift him a bike, because he always craved for that. Or some people gift even cars, to their spouses to show the amount of love they feel for them. Okay, and people actually promote and support that. Wow, what a couple! How much they love each other when they do that, right? Or just take them out for a candlelight dinner, or so those kind of things are there. Pressures are there, right, for everyone. People feel that some are fortunate enough to get out of that, but most of the thing, this is how it goes, right? People feel obligated, under pressure to do something to show their affection, or to prove that how much they love them, or to ensure that the other person feels they are still relevant for them, right? Now let's see what Lord Krishna says. Okay, Lord Krishna says, right, in 9.26, he says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya parayachati. If you offer me with a leaf, forget about rose, okay, the color of rose and all. Just offer me a leaf, okay, or a flower, or a fruit. I don't even need any exotic fruit from you. Or even water if you don't have it. Just offer it with love. I'll partake it. And basically, your consciousness has to be pure and with love, and I'll accept it. And he'll reciprocate it as well, right? God has a rule to reciprocate. So the feeling you have, if you shed a tear, God is obliged to shed a tear for you. right? Ye yatha mam prapadyante tastathaiva bhajamyaham, right? Mam vartamanu vartante bharata partha sarvashah. That's what Lord Krishna says. It is one of the shlokas which is repeated in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam both. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tastataiva. It's in Bhagavatam as well. So he says, when you offer me something or what you feel for me, I reciprocate it to the same extent, at the same moment, to the same intensity, at the same time to that devotee. And that is how much, at length God is willing to go for us. And what happens in this world, despite having given all the stuff on the left-hand side, do you think that relationship is on a firm footing? It's an ongoing thing, right? And then after a while, again, we are back to square one. So this is where we have been putting our bets on the world, even on a Valentine Day. And this is what Lord Krishna is saying, how simplified he has made it. So Swamiji says that, Maharaj has also said that the amount of love or amount of tears you have shed for people around you whom you think you have loved, if you have done only 1% of that for God, you have realized God not once, multiple times. That is how easy God has made it for us. But we are not convinced. We still want to give flowers. We want to prove. We want to fear. We want to feel anxiety, insecurity. And we still continue to bet on people around us for love and everything that we need. But, dovetailing it towards God's continues to be a challenge. So this is where it is. What is true love? How our true love will get, how will we reach that stage? By purifying our antakaran. Purifying of antakaran needs God's grace, and we need to invest our time wisely around that by doing seva satsang sadhana. When we do that, we will naturally get the love that we have always been seeking for. In fact, it will also give us joy. It will also give us peace. It will give us bliss. It will also rid us from anger, envy, jealousy, bitterness, hatred, all the negative sentiments. Everything auspicious would happen. And the process is not very tricky. It's just a matter of prioritizing it, thinking of ourselves as a soul and not just this body. Okay. And having that conviction and then prioritizing it, and that's about it. And then we can celebrate Valentine Day every day, not have to wait for 14th February alone, right? If you think about gopis, every day for them was a Gopi Prem Divas, because not even for a moment they were separate from Krishna. That is the level they were having, or state that they were enjoying at that point. Okay, with that said, I know I've been talking a lot and we have a hard stop. So let's have a bit of a discussion. Questions anybody has on the topic that we've spoken about?
It's by Radhe Radhe.
Radhe.
No comments on the chat. Ajit ji had asked that what's the analogy of soap in spiritual sense?
Soap in spiritual sense is something that can have a detergent or a cleaning effect. And that soap would be basically when you start working with a guru, he will start confronting your secret stash. That means those dirty, hard stains. He would know that for you to get rid of that hard stain, this is what you need to do. And when you start following his instructions, that soap effect will start coming. Okay, that's a matter of experience. If somebody, I can vouch for myself how that journey has unfolded, but that effect of soap will happen when you start working, when you find a guru, and even otherwise, if you start meditating on God, you would realize that some of the things you always struggled with are now going away all by themselves. I have seen people who have been hardcore drinkers. They would open up a whiskey bottle in the middle of the day. Okay, and after they fell in love with Krishna, all those habits, they just left them. It's not that they forced themselves. So that means the soap got applied. Soap means something which purifies you and removes the dirt in your heart that is stopping you from progressing spiritually. Hope that answers your question.
Ajit ji, Radhe Radhe.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Actually, you have explained everything theoretically very nice, but I will try to give my opinion as well.
Sure.
The soap is something we apply on the dirty object or cloth, and then later on we remove it. You have narrated very nicely that our aim of this life is to purify our heart. That is the ultimate goal. No doubt about it. Everything is okay. But stepping stone is using the soap and detergent as well.
True.
So in spiritual realm, the jap, mantra, puja, darshanam, everything is like a soap. You start removing the dirt slowly and slowly. And
Sure.
the very ultimate thing is a seva bhav. Seva is the ultimate soap and detergent to remove your dirt from the worldly things. The secondly, you have told that we have got only one brain, one mind. Either you can apply it to worldly things or a spiritual thing. It cannot have both the things. And ironically, we have to live in this world, discharging all our duties and aiming for the higher goals. So this is a very difficult task. You have already narrated everything.
Yes, Ajit
it was
ji.
there. Yeah, it was very. Just I wanted to highlight.
Both the points, I get that. Let me explain that, expound on both these points once more. When I say either God or world, basically both can coexist in the same mind, right? For example, you don't forget who you are, your identity. Or a cricketer, even though a ball is hurled at him at 90 miles an hour, doesn't forget that, the field is placed like this, and this is what I need to do to bisect the field. Or a teacher which is teaching in the school does not forget I'm a mother of two. So that consciousness is so deeply embedded that you can carry out your worldly task, and at the same time, at the back of your mind, God is there. It's like driving. When you're driving, you don't have to think, I'm pressing this, I'm pressing clutch, and now this is happening. It is there. It is your memory. It has become. So that state we have to reach where we can operate effectively in this world with a consciousness that we are doing it for the pleasure of God. Secondly, the soap concept that you spoke about, we fall into the second category of devotees. If we think that by doing our japa, tapa, and all the practices that we are doing, we can attain God. Finally, we have to surrender to God, right? And that is God is the means, God is the end as well. And that is where we would need, and God's grace flows in through Guru. So the true soap, yes, these are all enablers for us. These are all stepping stones for us, for sure. But the true cleansing or the effective cleansing or those dirty spots, the hard, tough stains would start getting removed, not through our self-effort, but by God's grace, via grace of Guru. So that soap clean job would start when we find a Guru and start working under his guidance, that seva bhav that you spoke about. So yes, what you said is completely right. I'm just trying to expound on it a little further so that it doesn't become confusing, the concept itself.
Thank you, Nitinji. What I want to highlight that now after theoretically we are clear, we should focus about the practical things, how to achieve all these things.
Right. And that practical thing is, we have spoken about that in our previous session, right? What do we do? All this theory is fine, but it will remain a mere information or a seva. Basically, this whole thing will become a spiritual entertainment unless we do something about it, right? And that something is adding seva, satsang, and what is the third is seva, satsang, and sadhana to our daily routine, and that is our own effort. That is something we only have to do it at an individual level. We have created a seva platform. People can take benefit from it. Then sadhana is something you have to prioritize in your life. Satsang we do every day on Bhagavad Gita, right? And in addition to that, you can benefit from the Sunday satsangs that we do as well. That becomes an individual journey from that point onwards. But 50% of the journey is theory. Rest 50 is practical, and that gap has to be bridged by everyone. Okay.
Yeah, that practical thing should match with the scientific facts as well. So, for example, there is a subconscious mind, there is a conscious mind, there is a two part of the brain. What you have told, exactly the synchronization between left and right brain. So it should match with the practical things. Radhe Radhe.
Sure. Radhe Radhe. Thank you. All right. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah, we have few more questions. Ashutosh is asking, do we need to be God realized to reach a state of selfless love? To reach the state of selfless love.
Selfless, to reach a state of selfless love. I think it's a chicken and egg kind of a situation, right? See, when you remember we spoke about sadhan bhakti, bhav bhakti and all. So God, through God's grace, God will make us, when we start working towards it and start practicing nishkamta, I think the magic will unfold. God will make us, and he'll help us. God and Guru, through Guru's grace, he will help us prepare that vessel. And then we get the divine grace around it. But I think First you need to have the vessel, and then only the divine grace can pour into it, right? So it will happen before, I would say. I don't know if there's a time duration difference between it. Your antakaran got, the day your antakaran became shuddh, right, the divine grace will probably be bestowed upon you immediately. But it has to happen, I think, as part of our sadhana only, and Guru is going to help us along the path for that.
And we have few more comments, Jitin bhai. When doing something on our daily jobs, if we feel that we are doing it for Bhagwan Krishna, will that be seva to purify us, or seva means engaging ourselves to spread the message of God? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, anything could become basically a worship, right? Nothing is secular, like Vivekananda ji had said, but I would say seva, that could become, if you're doing it for the pleasure of God, sure, why not? But it's difficult to maintain that consciousness during your work, especially with the fact that you are paid for it. Seva, typically, you don't take anything back, right? So the kind of seva, when like the platforms that we are talking about, you don't get anything. You are giving a slice of your life without getting anything in return. So that becomes a completely nishkam seva at that point. Yes, in our work also, we need to bring in, that is what Karma Yoga is, right? Karma Yoga is doing things for the pleasure of God. So you can make anything devotional, not a problem at all. But seva would be you are doing purely for God. There's absolutely no other motive or any other intention behind it. So you could do mix of both. In fact, carving out times specifically for the work of God and Guru is very, very auspicious.
Thank you so much. Today I got the meaning of real seva. आज समझ में आया कि सेवा क्या होती है. Seva is just to do your part. मतलब आज तक it was different for me, but after this line of yours today, I think I got the real meaning of seva. Thank you so much.
Yeah, let me give you another way of seva. Okay, let's understand this. Everybody will have an inertia. Trust me, maybe we can do a poll. One of these people will say, oh, it needs skill, commitment, time, this, that. So I will not. Trust me, this is all excuses your mind is cooking up. Now, the reason seva we have to do, I'll tell you, Shamji, it will hopefully help shed some more light on this topic is, see, when God's grace flows in through Guru, right? Now, when Guru has to grace you, if he does it just like that, okay, Shamji, here is your grace quota for the day, then it is very whimsical. It is very whimsical, and because Guru is also bound by the rule of God, right? They can't do things whimsically, just like that. Okay, take this grace, take this grace. They cannot distribute it just like that. Now, if a Guru has to grace somebody, person A or person B, right, because of your sanskars or your intent or whatever you are doing, let's say Shamji, then what Guru would do is, he will say, Shamji, here is the seva for you. Okay, because when you will do that seva with proper bhav, you are freeing up or opening up the hands of Guru to give you grace without violating the principle of perfect rule of God. You do seva, you have opened up his hands, you do more seva, more hands are opened up. So actually Guru wants to serve you. Your seva is just a facade. Guru will end up serving you, but for him to serve you, he has to give you seva. This is how it works. This is the deeper principle behind it. You are not doing any seva, trust me. None of us is doing any seva. Okay, whatever little things we are creating, like, share, comment, content creation, this, that, this is all just a small, means to enable our Guru to grace us, nothing else.
Yeah.
They will end up doing our seva. They fight with our prarabdha. They fight with our sanskars. Okay, and they do things quietly for us which we are not even aware of. So it's like Guru saying, help me, help you. Give me an opportunity to serve you by taking on this seva. This is how seva works. Okay, I hope it makes sense for all of you. So
This makes sense to me.
take opportunity of
Assuming
seva. Don't let go of it.
whatever,
It's an opportunity, one of these things, kind of a deal.
Whatever has come to me has come to me by its own. You know that. And I totally believe that it's grace of God grow on me, because they want me to do something so that they can help me out.
Right.
I totally believe that. Right.
And seva is called a fruit of sadhana. If you have done sadhana in your previous lifetimes, or you have something merit, then seva will come to you. We think seva is an ordinary thing, chalta hai, aaya. It's not ordinary, trust me. Even though it may look very normal, okay, this has come my way, but it doesn't come just like that. And if it has come, latch on to it. I have learned, that way. So I'm just telling you, it's a huge blessing and a privilege to do seva. People cry out while doing seva. That is how important seva is. Yes, Sasmita ji, we can probably take 1 or 2 hands because we have another 5 minutes.
Sasmita ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Actually, that question was asked by me. So I am asking that I am doing my daily jobs. So I am giving time for satsang to sometime my daily sadhana. I'm trying my best to purify myself, but I am in that seva part. I think I have some lacking because I am doing. My daily course most probably, and sometimes I remember God, I surrendered to that, to Krishna, but sometimes in the material world I can't do that. But the spreading of message or doing absolutely for the sake of pleasure of God, that part was something I can't be, means I can't do the till now. So give me some tips so that I can engage myself in that part also. And if I am lacking in that perspective seva, then what will be, means what will be the consequence, means what will happen?
Okay, you can fill in the feedback tracker and encourage all of you to fill it. We can have some offline conversation. Sasmita ji, you try your best. You have your purity of intention around that you want to serve, and God, Guru will enable it for you in some form or manner. See, at least you're feeling that hunger to do more seva. Okay, that is a good, great start. And in due course of time, it will come your way. Okay, you pick up something small and then see how it grows on you. And then before you realize it, it could become something significant, substantial, and you can surprise yourself as well. But you keep that intent and purity and do whatever best you can do given your constraints and circumstances that you have. And then rest, let God and Guru take care of it. Fill in the feedback tracker. We can have a bit of a more offline conversation on it as well. Yeah, but don't feel overanalyze this thing. Just try to do your best as you can. Over time, it will automatically, organically grow for you.
We have few more comments. Ratnaj is asking how to loosen the grip of insecurities of worldly material desires, which can affect the sadhana as well. And then Sam G is saying, is a mother God relies to show selfless love towards a child?
No,
and then, sorry.
Nothing of that sort. It's an umbilical cord relationship. So that is why there is a natural, what you call that, because of the constitutional position or the relationship that you have with the child, it's a natural thing. But you have to take what you call this oath with me, okay, that the question that you're going to ask, if I give you a correct answer, you're going to break all the records in devotion, okay? Then only I'm going to answer that question. So let's strike a deal, Samji, on that. But yeah, this is more of a biological tuning that happens, and it's a privilege to be able to nurture a kid, so that relationship is automatically established. Nature has designed it that way for most part.
Yeah, and Payalji is asking, why on the first place of God gotten into this confusing world? How happy we would have been if we would have been resting into God's udar.
Good question. We'll tackle that also. Why did I also had the same? Why this whole drama of this world, right? Let there be vacuum. God is sleeping. We also sleep. Big deal. We'll talk about it. It's an important, very philosophical question. We'll talk about it as well. So with that, we come to the end of today's session. Please fill out the feedback tracker. We'll see you tomorrow. Again, we'll continue on this fascinating discussion that we are having. So have a wonderful day. Great rest of your evening. Over to you, Ajay and Sunit Bhai, if you're there.
Thank you, Nitin Bhai. What a wonderful, thank you, Shyamji. Thank you, Nitin Bhai. What a wonderful discussion, huh? It's just mind-boggling. So it's good to see that. I'm going to stop the recording here. Thank you as always.